You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains, we gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise like the day. I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. The silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains. And I'll rise like the day. I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. That we have each other, and for that we have each other, and we will rise, we will rise, so we will rise, we'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again. And we'll rise up, I like the waves. We'll rise up, in spite of the ache. We'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome back. My name is Tawana, and I'll be joining you today. This is session 3 of the fundamentals of being a recovery housing manager. So, whereas the last session, you guys explored the importance of peer leadership and safety, supportive environments, today, we're going to explore the social model of recovery domains. We're going to focus on the peer governance and the peer authority. As these virtual classes are a part of a larger recovery housing manager curriculum, we hope that you're enjoying the online self-paced courses. Let us know if you have any questions about the self-paced content. We can put these questions in the parking lot and make sure we schedule time to cover them in the upcoming weeks. We want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, the Ohio Mental Health and Addiction Services. Thanks to their funding, we're able to offer this training at no cost to you. As a reminder, this training is offered through a collaboration between Ohio Recovery Housing, Recovery People Administrators Tron, which is a sister organization of Ohio Recovery Housing. I always want to say ORH, but it's Ohio Recovery Housing. So the staff will take this opportunity. I just want to say hello to everyone. I have been a co-facilitator on other trainings, and I'm glad to be a part of this. I'll be co-facilitating today with Angie. Would you like to go ahead and greet the class, Angie?
Looks like Angie will be right back.
All right, so she had to go right back. So we have some wonderful support with us today. So go right ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hey everybody, this is Lisa Matt from Texas, helping you out with tech support stuff. If you're having any tech support issues, go ahead and message me in the chat.
Hello from Ohio Recovery Housing. I'm glad to see everybody here. And what I'm really happy to see is lots of people have completed the self-paced lessons. And I appreciate your efforts in that. And for those who haven't yet, if you have any issues, you can send me an email and we'll get her done.
I'm Angie Regan, guys. I'm sorry I had some technical difficulties, but thank you, Lisa and John, for getting me back on. Nice to have you guys back.
Awesome. All right, so before we dive right in today, we're going to do a little housekeeping, as you guys may remember from the prior trainings. So this is designed to reflect the social model recovery principles. So this includes self-care. We're committed to giving short halftime breaks. So give yourself a brain break, please do. And then come back at the designated times, but we don't want to start without you. So make sure you come back in and participate. So we're always, they also created a parking lot, which I think is excellent. So if we can't answer your questions within the training here, we can make additional times, maybe at the end, or even add an additional training to make sure we cover any points you may have. So we want to welcome everyone's engagement. So there are several different ways that you can engage during this training. You can end your thoughts by using the chat. That is a wonderful way if you can't schedule your way through with the sound, because I know a lot of times we kind of have problems with unmuting ourselves, but go ahead and put that in the chat. But feel free to join in. If you guys are not talking, we just ask that you mute yourself, but if you can also use the icon. I know they have a little thumbs up button, and you can raise your hand as well, and we will acknowledge you. But if you have to leave, please put be right back or BRB in the chat so we know that you'll be right back. So we want to welcome everyone to use your video. But for some reason, if you need to keep that off, we want to respect that. But it also helps us read the nonverbal cues. And also you can wave at me and say, hey, you forgot about me. So finally, of course, all these recordings are being recorded only for quality assurances. This is to make sure that someone that may miss the class, they can go back and review it. This will not be shared with the public. All right, so our topic today is governance. So let's take a look at this governance. What's this all about? And how does it fit into the social model recovery program with our housing? So we first have to understand, what is this? What does governance mean? So it tells us right here that it's setting and enforcing the boundaries. So these are the rights, the rules, the decision-making procedures that direct the actors, example, the residents or the staff along the path that's desired. So within recovery housing industry, you may hear people refer to it as the structure or the accountability piece of it. So how is your organization structured? And how are you accountable? And who are you accountable to? So with that being said, we have example of governance and boundaries. We're going to use the word cloud Mentimeter. So this is one of the wonderful exercise. If you would like to, could you please drop in the link into the chat? And within that link, you're going to click on it and you're going to answer a couple questions. So I'm going to see if I can switch my screen to the Mentimeter once you drop that into the chat. So I'll wait for you to do that.
It's in there.
Okay, awesome. All right, so let's go over here and see if we can see anyone's answers. So examples of rights within recovery housing. You should be able to enter your comments and they should pop up. So what are some examples of rights within recovery housing? If anyone's having difficulties, let us know.
Safety on the chat. Are you guys able to get to the link? If not, I mean, that's fine, but safety, privacy, yes, those are all very good rights, yes.
Are you all able to see the link in the chat and click on it? Is it working when you try to click on it?
Yeah, I just entered safety in the Mentimeter, so.
Okay.
I clicked on the link and I put my answers in that link.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
All right. I guess it takes a minute. So let's see here. We have
Minty minute.
a minty minute. I like that. So it says treated with respect. Exactly. You have the right to do that. Right to privacy, religion. That's a big one. Self-direction, pathway, drug-free environment. Yes. And you have a voice. Exactly. And your own path guidance. Exactly. Civil. Exactly. You guys are on the right track. All right. So here's the next question that's going to pop up. It says examples of rules within recovery housing. Let's see if it'll let you do that and it'll pop up. And I don't want to forget to look at the chat too. So.
Curfew. I got curfew in the chat. Structured. Yes. Yes. Those are some rules. Respect. Very, very good answers. Lori, when you click enter, it should change to the next question in the mini meter.
Tawana might have to refresh again or something to make it.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Not working.
Nope.
It came up a second ago, but then it looked like it just disappeared.
It was the first answers.
There we go.
That's the first question.
Oh.
This is the second one.
Hmm. Oh, somebody said the question isn't changing in the link.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Someone else said that too.
The next slide, it's not showing up for them correctly.
If you guys just want to put your answers in the chat, then we can, if it's not, the Mentimeter's not coming up.
Yeah. So rules, drug-free.
And some of these are rights as well as rules, right, Joanna?
Mm-hmm. Curfew, no smoking, being respectful. No visitors, chores. Okay. Do not do drugs. No fighting. That's a big one, yes. No fighting. No threats or acts of dishonesty. Clean up after yourself. You guys got some good ones. And respecting staff, yes. And boundaries, no sexual relationships. Okay. All right. So let's go to our next question. We have one more. Examples of decision-making procedures within the recovery housing. So what's some examples of decision-making procedures?
House meetings. Yes, that's a good one. Democratic decision-making.
Mm.
Past meetings, yes. Vote, yes.
Mhm.
These are all excellent answers, guys. Sorry, the mini meter isn't working though for whatever reason, but staff meetings. Mhm.
Group conscious. Ooh. Chart supervisor. Okay.
You guys remembered a lot from last week about the decision-making process and how you, very good.
All right. That sounds great. All right. So I'm going to pop back over. Oh, chain of command. Important to understand the chain of command. Exactly. All right. So that means everybody was paying attention in that last class. All right. So understanding, the governance, you guys got some great examples of understanding the differences. But let's dive right into how we setting and enforcing those boundaries within the governance. So it talks about that boundaries can be set and enforced by the individual. So there's 3 different ways that these boundaries can be set. So from the resident's perspective, when asked who sets and enforces the types of boundaries, they would probably say, I do. I set my boundaries. These are my own personal boundaries. So boundaries can be set and enforced by the resident in the community as well. So if you ask the resident community, who sets and enforces these types of boundaries? They probably say, we all do. We all work together in a different perspective. So boundaries can be set and enforced by the external forces as well, such as the owner, the operator, or the government. So if you ask the resident, who sets the boundaries for those types? They probably say, well, they do. They're in charge. So with that being said, in summary, there are some controls that are enforced by the I do as the residents. There are other controls that are set by the community as a whole, as a we do. And there's still other external boundaries that are set and enforced by the authorities that help set our standards for housing, such as our zoning processes. We have external forces that we have to follow as well. So cultivating self-governance skills is the key to initiating and sustaining recovery, as you all know. So many of you may be familiar with the Serenity Prayer, which I have said this plenty of times. It speaks of self-governance. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So with these phrases and concepts, they help us understand the importance of cultivating a self-governance. So with that being said, there has to be some form of self-determination. I have the right to make my own decisions today. I also have the right to fail or succeed. It's my right. Sometimes the best learning comes from failure, as long as you have the support and hope to continue your journey. The personal agency, it also says I'm responsible for my thoughts and feelings and action. Not only this is it important for the resident to own its feeling, it's also important for the house manager to acknowledge and set the boundaries. That way people don't cross them. They have to have great and healthy boundaries in place. Self-accountability. Guess what? I take responsibility for my actions today and my life. I learn from my mistakes and I can quickly recover from any impulse and not blame others. And I don't want to ignore the problem or hide from my shortcomings. So here we want to understand these 3 phrases based on the time. Let's kind of reflect on it. And you guys, you can take yourself off mute, but how do some of these phrases reflect recovery? Would someone like to share? Today, I'm self-accountable today. I have determination. Anyone can share.
I have the right to make my decisions, right to fail or succeed would be like what course, like what what is it called? Like either if they want to go to AA or they could choose whatever course they want to go through for their recovery.
Mm-hmm.
They could choose AA, NA, whatever.
Mm-hmm. I have that right today.
Yes.
And what's going to help me succeed? Yeah, exactly. Anyone else? How do these phrases reflect recovery today?
For the self-accountability, you know, at least for myself, because I can only speak on myself, taking responsibility for my actions in my life. I took responsibility for the fact that I was an addict, that I am an addict, and that I made choices in my life that led me to where I am today. So the choices that I made and the mistakes that I made, I have learned from, went to treatment for, and now, you know, I've learned the tools that I need in order to recover. Like it says, I quickly recover from any impulse to blame others, ignore problems, and hide from my shortcomings. So by working the steps of the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous, I have learned how to recover from that statement.
Mhm.
That's
That's
just what
great.
I took from it.
That's excellent. Yes. Anyone else like to share?
Self accountability. You know, because when I was in my addiction, I ignored all my problems. I hid from my shortcomings, but today I'm aware of those, and I'm accountable for me. You know, how I react, how I act, you know, in certain situations, you know, determines my my walk today.
Mhm. Oh, that's great. I like that. One of my personal favorites is personal agency. And people say, what is that? I said, you're responsible for your feelings. Because people say, well, you made me feel. I said, no, those are your feelings. So I'm responsible for my feelings today and my thoughts and actions. All right. Anyone else? We'll move along.
You know, Tawana, the first step that the girls do coming into our recovery house is they write a letter. And that gives them basically their personal agency back. You know, they have their voice. You know, we want to know, and you know, your personal agency, autonomy, basically.
Mhm. And then they're accountable to their own words because they wrote them.
Right, right.
I like that. Excellent. All right. So dealing with that, some of you guys may struggle with the concept of empowering the residents and having that resident-driven recovery because you may see it as the addict or addiction trying to run the show. So how can we tell the difference between the two? So, you know, based on the amount of time, we want to share a little bit too, because I hear and have heard people in authority says they're going to recover. I'm going to put them in this program and they're going to recover. I like that you said, Angie, that they can write a letter stating what their goals are. Then it's not you running them, it's them saying, this is what I want to, and then you get to support them with what they wrote. So what do you guys think about this? So a lot of people says, well, I wouldn't let no one run my program, but I don't really think that's what it is. It's called person-driven recovery. Have you guys seen this, or how do you feel about this?
I like it. Like we do weekly goals, and that's what it is. Like it's their little goals that they want to accomplish through the week that leads them up to get the big goal done. And it's their goals, not ours, not what we want for them. It's what they want. I love it. It empowers them.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. One of the things that I try to do is hey, come on, man, it's time to do something different, you know, because jail ain't gonna keep you sober. Recovery, you know, going to meetings is not gonna keep you sober. It's if your willingness, if you're not willing to turn the mirror around and look at yourself and, you know, change your behaviors, and then your thinking to catch up, then you might make it. And the addiction trying to run the show. Oh man, only going to one meeting this week. I go to two maybe next month. Yeah, so
Yep, there's a difference. Great. Anyone else?
I think for the empowered and person-driven recovery is someone who's willing to take suggestions as well. You know, that are open to suggestions, that are open to a different way of life, and different, you know, decision making and actions. And then the addiction trying to run the show, you know, is their what's the word I'm looking for? Are their behaviors the same as they were when they were in active addiction? Because no matter if you're in picking up a substance or not, the
Mm.
addiction can run the show in other forms of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to, see, and they can recognize that by working some sort of program, whatever that program may be,
Mm-hmm. And then you put that power back in their hands. You kind of want to empower them and say, hey, you can do this. And you can see the difference. You'll start to see with growth and time. And then just empowering that person, hey, you said you wanted to do this, this, and this based on your letter you wrote and your goals this week. So how can we help you get there? So you guys did excellent. So
Be sure to check out the chat. We've got some great comments in the chat.
let's see. So it also says, let me go up a bit. It gives them a choice on how they do treatment. Exactly. You have to be able to close one door to be able to move on with your life. Sometimes it's hard, but that's the only way to be able to open the next door. Yes. Talking the talk, but not walking the walk. I like that one. Goal setting, reflections, taking action. You guys are great. No one can make you. I like that one. Because you can say you can try to make someone, it doesn't work because then they don't have their personal accountability to it. It gives a choice on how to treat it. Empowered is owning our part in all situations and admitting powerlessness. Wow. Willing to go any length versus miserable, irritable, and discontent. I've seen quite a bit of that. Your new life costs you the old life. Wow, that's powerful. They said chase that recovery like you chase the alcohol or drug. So it's your life on the line. Exactly right. And what better way is when you admit, don't it like it's like it takes a weight off your shoulders. Oh, now I can really live, All right. So with that being said, the social model recovery, like recovery housing, they are unique and they try to cultivate the peer governance among the residents community. So what words have you used or heard to describe peer governance? You guys use an excellent one, peer accountability or being accountability. Someone said democratically run or voting as another one. So what words have you guys heard when you talk about peer governance and understanding that is, and kind of connecting that with recovery housing and the resident?
Setting an example.
Mm-hmm. Setting examples?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have peer supports. We have a lot of peer support. So a lot of times they'll go and say, hey, I need a meeting. So they'll go and try to gain support. So if they know, hey, I need a little help. So going to someone, peer support, and compromising. Or having someone to be accountable. That's also what that peer does. It keeps you accountable to someone. All right. To better understand the value of peer governance, we look at the Oxford House research. So the research science at DePaul University developed the Perceived Sense of Community Scale, the PSCS, which includes 3 domains: mission, reciprocal responsibility, and harmony. So they defined the shared mission as having shared goals and ideals. So the reciprocal responsibility is defined as sharing responsibility and having the mutual support. This is predictive of the greater self-efficacy, the lower relapse, and greater outcomes. Harmony is viewed in terms of rapport and amiability. Harmony was linked to a sense of well-being and satisfaction. Researchers found that harmony was driven by balance, unity, and agreement, cooperation, nature. It's all through mutual support and mutual dependence that these things flourish. We have to have this all reciprocal responsibility, the harmony and balance of life, having shared goals and missions. That's how we gain ahead. So here, peer governance is just not recovery concept. It's a human concept. Here's a powerful statement made by the National Wildlife Coordinating Group. Peer accountability is outgrowth of trust, respect, and commitment. We set examples by demonstrating that peers can hold us accountable. Encourage them to give us feedback on our own performance and meeting shared or stated goals. There's nothing like having a peer that can say, hey, look what's going on, or give you that positive feedback. And you want to get that encouragement because having that peer, they understand. They've been there, done that. So with that being said, it demonstrates the accountability. I have someone to be accountable, not just to myself. I have someone that actually understands my fight and what I'm going through. So here, as important as self-governance and peer governance is, we must acknowledge that it's nested within external controls. So within our little small tiny home, we have the individual, then there's that peer community, then there's the owner operator, and we have policies and procedures set in place with the resident agreement that we want to be there. And then who governs that is our local, state, and federal laws. So we're just a tiny piece of a huge connection. And these are the external controls, and they all are surrounded. So they all play a role together. It's time for the wicked question breakout exercise. I like these. This is fun. Wicked questions are paradoxes. In this case, the question is one that we offer and hear from some owner operators. How can we implement self-governance or peer governance when residents may lack experience in healthy self-governance? So you all will be assigned to your regular breakout groups. We will drop the link out. Did someone drop the breakout link into the chat for me, please?
That for you.
Yes, thank you. All right, so you guys will go to your respective slides and answer the questions. So it will be helpful, you guys, when you do breakout, make sure you assign a recorder and someone to report out. So we'll give you 10 minutes to complete the exercise. Does anyone have any questions? All right, you'll go and assign to your respective groups. Right, welcome back, come on in. Wait till everybody gets done. And I'll watch the total so I'll know how many are back. Oh.
Looks like we're all back.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I hope you had time. If not, I can't wait to hear and share what you guys got to talk about. So let's start with the House of Hope. Who'd you guys designate as the reporter? Who's going to report out? House of Hope.
I'm going to read it.
All right, come on in. How can we implement personal agency and peer governance when residents may lack healthy decision-making experience? Go for it.
So we have staff modeling, house meeting or discussion, house requirements, peer support. Wait, is this the right list?
By color versus the name of the house, because it got confusing. We had the sage green group and we had the purple group.
So
I was on the purple group.
Oh,
Okay. From stage green want to report out.
Yeah, anyone from stage green?
Yeah, my bad.
I'm sorry. We could go ahead and let him go back just to the purple group and let Chris go ahead and finish. Right?
There you go.
There we go, Chris. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. We have sponsorship, increased meeting attendance, inventory, volunteer work, establish a support group, host meetings to discuss problems, one-on-one meetings to discuss problems, certified peer supporter, accountability, life skills classes, spiritual mentor, goal setting or recovery plan, reflect on the past, and willingness to be open to suggestions.
Excellent. One-on-one meetings to discuss problems. Yes. Not letting them fester. I like that. Accountability, spiritual mentor. Okay, let's go to our next home. Thank you, Chris. All right, there we go. The Sage. Oh.
All right, I'll read it. We got staff modeling, house meeting discussion, house requirements, peer support, guidance by house manager, giving and holding responsibility, decision-making exercises, motivational interviewing, peer accountability, taking suggestions from sponsor and sober support, and house expectations.
I like that you guys always had something about the decision-making processes and house meeting, how those are so important, and having the open line of communication with discussing. And the staff modeling, that is so important because they're watching. They're actually watching you and saying, hey, well, what are they doing that's different? And you make a difference being the house managers. Thank you. All right, we're gonna go back, watch your eyes. I'm gonna switch back. All right, next we have our break time. You guys can take a mental break. And then we'll be back at the top of the hour, maybe 5 till. And then we have a very important second half coming in, and I can't wait to see about it. And you guys get to have some great discussion. So we're going to take this time out, you guys, and we'll see you about 5 till.
So the first half of the session, the first hour, we talked about, Tawana did an amazing job of explaining peer governance. So what does that look like when you are talking about experientially credentialed as far as peer ran? Within social models like recovery housing, respected authority is based on lived experiences. And it's more than a clinical or professional credentials. And I mentioned this to you guys before in one of the sessions where my house is a level 2 recovery house, but it's also a reentry program, and it's strictly for women coming out of prison. So that lived experience and things that, you know, I'm in recovery and I have that, you know, lived experience, but as far as the prison experience, I don't have that. And it goes a long way when you're talking about respect and the authority boundaries of it. So, and it helps, you know, the residents, they don't feel so isolated. The shame, mistrust, hopelessness, disempowerment, and institutionalization. I can't even speak today, forgive me. But, you know, I mean, when you have that lived experience, you don't want somebody coming in and that's not ever even been in recovery. That, you know, and telling you things that, you know, that they've never even been through, or trying to explain things to you. So that's what we need as a house manager. You guys all know, you know, it's different. I have numerous degrees, 5 degrees, but nothing. It's just a useless piece of paper to these women. They, you know, it's a very expensive, useless piece of paper that's hanging on my wall. They need, you know, somebody that's been there. So, but when I have people that, you know, a woman that comes in that has been to prison or that's been in the program, through the program, that comes in and talks to them, their eyes are just lit up because they listen, and it's, you know, authority and respect, and it goes a long, long way. And we have a quote here from Dr. Wurzman, a neuroscientist. We can connect around what is broken, but we need to heal ourselves. So you guys are going to go to some breakout groups. And we're going to have a scenario, 4 different scenarios, 4 different breakout groups. The first one is going to be talking about like power struggles. So if you can go back to your Google Docs, where we were just a second ago with Tawana, we've got the 3 questions. So the what is going to be the scenario. The owner, staff, and leaders may knowingly, unknowingly place higher value on clinical or criminal justice authority figures. And this can dominate or undermine the authority of a lived experience, which is kind of what we just talked about. You know, I'm the founder and director of this program, but I don't have the lived experiences that these women have, you know, being in prison. I'm in recovery, but, you know, it's different. So now you have this power struggle. So then you got this, so what? So what could happen? What are the possible consequences of this situation? And then you decide, what are you going to do about it? The now what? Do you guys have any questions? And like I said, the clinical and they don't care about this stuff. They don't. It's not useless to us, but it's useless to them because, you know, they want somebody that's been there. And it can often, you know, like defiance and things like that. And also, you know, when you don't have that, it undermines the people that do have the lived experience. I mean, I don't want to, and I often say, well, I have girls go to our website and they read my bio and it's like, oh, you've been incarcerated. I didn't know, Angie, you were incarcerated. Well, no, I said I've been incarcerated, but I've not been to prison. It's different. Incarceration is incarceration to some people. It doesn't matter how long it's been, but, you know, I don't want to undermine the experiences that these women been through. you know, as far as prison. So I don't want to say, hey, I've been there, because I'm not. I've been incarcerated, but I've not been there. If that makes any sense. Do you guys have any questions about your breakout groups? Because we're going to head on out and you guys will have 10 minutes.
Let's give them a little more. What about 12 minutes?
Okay.
And just to be clear, we're gonna do this 4 times, hopefully, if we have the time. So you're just working on this one slide, the power struggle slide, and then and don't move forward to the next ones. There's going to be a total of 4 scenarios, and so we're going to report out on the scenario and then go back for the next one, and after that. Does that make sense?
You guys remember you picked a reporter and a recorder?
Yep. All right, you'll have 12 minutes, and see y'all back in 12 minutes.
All right, you guys, welcome back. We are going to start with the purple group, which is the Hope House. So if you guys have your reporter, we are excited to hear your answers here. And I've got that pulled up. You should be able to see it.
Chris, did you want to report again?
Come on, Chris.
Yeah, sure. Sorry. So we have what owners, staff, and leaders may knowingly or unknowingly place higher value on clinical or criminal justice authority figures. This can dominate or undermine the authority of lived experience. For the so what, we put the clinical staff or criminal justice authority figures tend to not listen or value information from those with lived experience. It can also create a huge power struggle between the residents and peer supporter. We put for now what, bring in peer recovery coaches and have them talk with the staff about benefits of those with lived experience, and then have team building exercises.
Excellent, excellent. You know, and I said it a minute ago, you know, I bring in people that have actually had the lived experience, but that's awesome to, you know, bring in somebody to teach your clinical staff about the importance of having someone with a lived experience. Excellent, guys. Do we have somebody from House of Hope? Do we have a reporter, guys?
I will. I don't think any of us kind of understood really.
Okay.
We
sorry.
put for like and I should have asked questions. I apologize because I should have, because I didn't understand. But for like so what, like for the criminal justice, we put like if they focus strictly on the importance of authority figures, that they'll miss the mark of the recovery house, like what the benefits of the recovery house would be for. And then now what, we would encourage a voice and healthy boundaries. But I'm confused.
That's excellent. I mean, that's right on. I mean, if you have somebody that is not had the lived experience or experientially credentialed, and you have like just a clinician or somebody that's an authority, like in the criminal justice system, and they come in and they're trying to run the show, then what happens? What are the consequences of that? They miss the mark, just like you guys said. And so what would you do? You encourage a voice and healthy boundaries. At the end of the day, you know, this is, I mean, the social model, you know, stresses that the best leaders are always going to be somebody that has a lived experience. You know, and I mean, my organization anyway, we want to promote from within, just for that point, you know, just because of that. The girls in this house are always going to be the best candidates for any position. And you guys as house managers, I mean, you know what needs to be done, and you know what these residents, I mean, not exactly, but you've been through what they've been through. And again, not exactly, but you know, you guys are always going to be the best candidates. Somebody that's been there or in recovery is always going to be the best person, in my opinion. Anything else, guys? I'm sorry that I didn't explain it all that well.
Oh, you did. I should have asked more questions. I'm sorry.
I mean, you guys got the mark, but I mean, do you guys miss that? You didn't miss the mark. You got the mark.
Yeah.
You guys have anything else? Since there's very
Can I
little
say
on
one
here,
thing?
people not-
Can I
ahead.
say one thing about the lived experience?
Sure, Doug.
When you got people in your house with lived experience, you have to train them up to be open the different pathways of recovery, because, you know, you got some people that, you know, were raised up in their particular program or whatever
That's very
don't
true.
that don't, you know, hear the MAT programs and all of that, and different, you know, smart recovery, celebrate recovery. So you gotta make sure that people with lived experience are understanding that everybody got their own path. I had to learn that too, because I was, yeah. Anyway,
Love
love
it.
y'all. I mean,
Oh, excellent. That's excellent. That's a really, really, really good point. You don't want to, I mean, sometimes, you know, the longer you've been in recovery, you don't want to put, you know, press your beliefs on somebody else just because this is what worked for you. I mean, you mentioned celebrate recovery. I mean, this, you know, NA may not work for everybody, but something else like celebrate recovery may work for them. So you don't want to, you know, press your beliefs, or your way of recovery is not everybody's way. Is that what you meant? Is that what you meant to say?
And that's a learning way. You got to learn that.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Let's see here. So we're going to go to your breakout groups again, guys. And we're going to have another case study or scenario. So in this case, let's say that your recovery homes are just new. You started a recovery home and it's a new house. And, or maybe you have like a high turnover rate, which most new ones do, right? So that means that what? You might not have all the people that you can promote from within, like I was talking about a second ago. You might, you know, you have a high turnover. So how are you going to promote from within or find somebody that, you know, has these credentials? You want somebody that's been through the program or been in your house that knows, you know, your house rules and all of that. But if you are a new organization or you have a high turnover, how would that happen? So let's look at the so what. You've got like the consequences of it. What are the or potential consequences? And then your now what is going to be, how do you handle it? If you guys have any questions, I want to make sure that we all understand, because I'm sorry.
I understand this one for sure.
You do? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Anybody else? We are running so good on time, guys.
Okay, see y'all in 12 minutes.
4
Now we're
seconds.
coming back, right, Lisa? Yeah. Okay, you guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for participating. We are going to start with the House of Hope this time. We'll start with you guys first. So you guys are on slide. Slide 14. Do we have a reporter?
Is that I will.
Thank you, Tiffany.
You're welcome. We put no one is to demonstrate structure for so what we put there's no one to demonstrate structure, lack of support, no one to enforce rules, no accountability, and nobody there to be a recovery role model.
Excellent.
Now what we put hire and training proper staff from outside, train peer supporters, and have policies and rules set in place.
Right. Yes, that's excellent. Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Hope House, are you guys ready? On slide 6, do we have a reporter?
Sure, I'll do it again.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay, so scenario, what recovery homes that are startups and or that have high turnover often lack senior residents. This can mean they lack experientially accredited leaders and or a pipeline of new staff. So what? Overdoses, relapses, chaos, rebellion, fights, targeting, overall disrespect, no one holding each other accountable, no climate established for the house, secret keeping, old behaviors taking over, no examples, and then splitting or triangulation. Now what? Community partners and calling on their experience, mediations, house
John
meetings to
Coro.
reestablish what we all came here for, going over house rules again, accountability agreements, and behavioral contracts.
Yes, excellent. And I like the holding each other accountable, because if you don't have, that kind of authority with the lived experience in place already, I mean, who's gonna hold each other accountable? There's just, new people, and they have nothing to look at, so to speak. And no climate or culture established for the house. That's excellent. Secret keeping. Yes, that's big. And, especially what I do. I mean, if I don't have, somebody in authority, that somebody that's been to prison, then, I mean, technically, and, they got this code, and I'm, it's not just a code in prison. It's just a code that, you want to keep secrets from each other, or keep secrets from the authority figures. And that's how, we would be perceived if we're not, we don't have that lived experience, and, we're not experientially credentialed. And like I said, the degrees do not matter. And there's to, people in the house, it goes a long way with respect. So these are all excellent answers. You guys ready to go to your next one, or does anybody have anything else? Nothing else. Okay. All right, guys. We will go to our next case study, which would be trauma. So just because somebody has a lived experience with substance misuse does not mean that their experience with trauma. And in my house, I mean, all of these women that have been to prison and are coming out, they've all been traumatized, some sort of trauma. So how does that, I mean, how does that work? So you've got, just some responses to trauma can be viewed as defiant or deceptive or defective. These women, just because they're not wanting to do the rules or follow the rules or listen, doesn't mean that it's defiance, but it's just a response to trauma that, they've been inflicted with. And if you don't understand that, then how does that work? So are you guys ready to go to your next breakout? Yes, no, yes. How long do you think you guys will need? 10 minutes, 12 minutes? 10 minutes, okay, Lisa?
This one.
We'll give you guys 10 minutes.
Okay. See y'all back in 10 minutes.
Thank you. One more minute left, Lisa, or no?
No, we are all back.
Okay,
now.
all right, guys. We're going to start with the purple group this time. Slide 7. So what was your intake on the trauma? When you have somebody come in, how are they going to lead? How are they going to be trauma informed, or what happens when they're not? And what do you do then? Purple group, do we have a reporter?
Yep. So we put they're misunderstood and cannot get the help that they need, can cause a domino effect on unhealthy behavior, and can cause re-traumatization and can hurt them more. And then for now what? Trauma-informed therapy, training staff on trauma responses and de-escalation techniques, possible referral to a higher level of care or a higher level of housing, training staff on what it means to be therapeutic.
Yes, excellent. I mean, you don't want to traumatize your residents any more than they have been already. And most of them a lot of them are going to have been through a lot of trauma. And it can cause a domino effect, exactly, and cause relapse. Yes, it's excellent. Excellent. Thank you, Chris. Anything else, guys, from the purple group? Or group 1? You guys have anything to add? Feel free to just put it in the chat or unmute yourself and speak up. We have plenty of time here, it looks like. Well, have some time, guys. Nothing? All right, guys, let's go to group 2. House of Hope. Who's going to be the reporter?
I will.
Thank you again, honey.
You're welcome.
Okay, slide 15.
Okay, so for the so what we put relapses, they can disengage, lack of trust, loss of respect, they can isolate, turn to violence, lose self-respect, And for now what, we put continued education for house managers, self-trainings, staff trainings, I mean, trauma-informed care trainings, create safety plans, be compassionate, understanding, de-escalation trainings, having a lived experience, peer support.
Yes, excellent. And when we talk about the lived experience, you can get, trauma informed care and train somebody on that. But, and sometimes you have to have been through that trauma. Like I said, the women that are in this house, they've been through, horrific things I can't even imagine. And it's hard to find somebody like that. And, but unless they've been to prison and had, suffer from PTSD and have been sexually abused and things like that. But you can do the staff trainings and things. Certainly, yes, that's awesome. Excellent answers. And they do become violent. I like that. So what violence? Yes, I mean, because that's how they react. If they feel like they're not being understood, then, they don't have the respect, like you mentioned, and then they could become violent because that's just how they react and how they respond to the lack of respect that they feel that they're getting. Do you guys have anything else? These are all excellent answers, you guys. This is awesome. Thank you so much. Got one more, guys. And what do you say, Lisa? You want to do like about 5 minutes and report back?
For the last one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. Just
okay.
Some brief discussion on the last one.
Yeah. If you guys can do this in like 5 minutes, we'll report back and then we'll be done for the day. You guys are doing an excellent job. So for the next one, it's cultural competency and responsiveness. Responsiveness. I have trouble with the ness words. So a personal recovery journey does not equip owners, staff, or peer leaders of cultural competence. So when you're talking about, somebody that's coming in, it's a different culture. How do you respond to these populations, and how do you, what's the prevalence of, substance abuse users in different cultures? Do you think we have time, Lisa?
Yep.
Okay. All right. You guys ready?
See you guys in 5 minutes.
Seconds.
Now.
Welcome back, guys. You guys did a good job. It's quick already. We got about 2.5 minutes before we are heading out. So, purple team, cultural competence. Okay, who's the reporter?
We did discrimination, peers feel misunderstood, looked down on for different sexual backgrounds and substance preference, looked down on MAT program and sexual orientation. And then for now what, we did cultural competency and cultural diversity class, team building for staff, training for working with people with different sexual orientation.
Thank you, Chris. Excellent. Yes, and discrimination is a big one when you're dealing with different cultures.
I'm in a training right now. Can I call you right back?
No, you can't, Tawana. Okay. Group 1. Thank you, Chris. Group 1, you guys ready? Or group 2, sorry.
Yeah, we're ready.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. For so what, we put discrimination. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Where are we?
I'm sorry. I got the voice up now.
For so what, we put offend. We could offend them, create a hostile environment, and intimidating. What else? Like you wouldn't. They'd be unvalidated.
Don't feel rushed, honey.
All right. And then now what we put, become advocate, culture competency training.
Yes, excellent. And I mean, sometimes we feel like people of a different culture, we might offend them, or then they might become offended. But sometimes, I feel like sometimes I might offend another culture just because I'm not aware of it. Right. And so the cultural competency training would be very, very beneficial. Yeah, become an advocate. Excellent, guys. Anything else? You guys, these are all amazing answers. I appreciate you guys taking the time to do this. This is awesome. And like Tawana said, house managers are in high demand. So I'm not going to do my shameless plug today, but we need you. Anything else, guys? All right, guys, if that's it, then nobody has any questions, then we will see you guys next week, Wednesday at 2:00.
Okay, everybody have a great week. Till then,
Doug.
stay
You
safe,
as
stay
well.
blessed.
Yeah, all on to you.
Mm.